Hi everybody, Professor Little here, and I wanted to spend a couple minutes and just talk about creating a simple web page. So as you guys know, in tutorial 1 that reviewed what is HTML, it's hypertext markup language, and that's the program language that you have to use to be able to put pages on the web. And as you know, also to view pages on the web, you have to have a browser like Internet Explorer or Opera or Google Chrome, any of the browsers that we've taken a look at in this class. So to write the HTML code itself, you actually need an ASCII text editor, which is a kind of program that just doesn't embed any kind of code at all. All you're doing is you're writing raw characters. It doesn't have anything else other than characters. So the editor we're going to use for this exercise is Notepad, and it's important that you know you should not write your HTML files in a word processing program like Microsoft Word or something like that. So we'll go into the Notepad program here in a second, but I just want to spend a minute and talk to you about the code itself. So HTML code has what they call tags or elements, and a tag or an element is basically telling the page what to do. So if you see in this example, you have an opening tag and there's a closing tag, and basically most of the code that you do will have an opening tag and a closing tag. Sometimes you have standalones, but we're not going to use any standalone tags in this example. So the HTML is actually what tells the browser, oh, this is an HTML document, look for that markup language and understand what that is. So this would say, oh, okay, I'm starting my HTML document, and then at the very end, after I wrote everything in between, then I would go ahead and end that HTML tag. So the basic structure of all HTML documents looks like this. So it always starts with an HTML tag and then has a head tag and then a title tag. Then you close the title tag, close the head tag, and then you're going to notice the HTML isn't closed until the very, very end, but if you look at this top structure here, the head and title tag are kind of behind the scenes. You can't really see anything on the actual content area of the browser, and I'll talk about that as I'm making this demonstration in a minute. But basically, any of the content that you want the user to be able to view is going to be here within this body tag. So we'll take a minute and go over to open Notepad. So you're going to go to Start, and then Programs, or All Programs, depending on your operating system, and then you'll go to your Accessories folder and open up Notepad. So when you open up Notepad, it's a blank document, and you just start typing your HTML code. So I'm going to just type my HTML code here to get the basic structure. Now, as I said, the HTML contains everything, so I have to type that first for the browser to understand what kind of language to interpret, which is my HTML. And the head tag is used for behind the scene things. Search engines will use information in this. And in fact, if you guys want to take a look at your reference in your book about how search engines use certain HTML tags, you can look at web page 210, and that will show you tag structure and also how the keywords are used to be able to work with search engine databases. So the head tag contains the behind the scenes information of your document, and then the title tag, which is also kind of behind the scenes, but you can actually see it. The title tag will contain whatever information that you want to show up in the title bar or in the tab of your browser window. The most important part of the title tag, though, is the bookmark text. So when I go as a user, I'm looking at a web page and I want to bookmark that page. Whatever you, as the writer of the HTML code, have put into that title tag will actually appear as the bookmark. So the last part of the basic structure of your HTML is the body tag, and so I'm going to go ahead and open my body tag and close my body tag. So right here I have a great structure set up. This is the minimum that I need to have for any HTML document. And you're going to notice that I've hit enter and put some spaces in, and because I'm in an ASCII text editor it doesn't matter, but I want to use enter and spaces to be able to nicely organize my opening and closing tags so I can see exactly what's going on with my HTML code. So the last thing we're going to do here is save this document so we can see what we have so far. And really the only thing we're going to see is this text right here that I have contained in my title tag. We'll see that as our bookmark entry. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to use my save as command. Now remember, when you save a file, always provide two pieces of information: the location and the file name. So for this example, I am going to go ahead and create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Web Demo. Now it's important that when you are naming files or folders that you intend to put on the web, that you don't have spaces in your file or folder name. So you're going to see here I have no space in my Web Demo folder name. Now the next thing that you need to know is about your file name. By default, because I'm in Notepad, Notepad would assign a TXT extension, but I actually need to assign a different extension of .html. So this is a super important part for you to name your file with an HTML extension. So when I go ahead and save that, I can close Notepad because I'm finished with that. And now when I go to the location, my web demo folder, I can see that I have my first file.html, and my icon is associated with Google Chrome because that's my default browser. So your icon will be Mozilla or Internet Explorer depending on what browser you use. Now when I open that, I see this blank window, and that is because I didn't put anything in the body tag. I left it empty, but you do note that this is the area for that bookmark, and if I wanted to go ahead and add this page to my bookmark, I would see that whatever text I put in that title tag would actually have that information. Okay, so what's next? If I want to go and edit this, I can't edit this file from my browser. So the easiest thing when you're new to writing code is just go ahead and close your browser. Now instinctively you're going to go to the folder and look at that HTML and double click that. But the thing is when you double click it that way, you're not going to be able to be in the edit mode of the editor. So what might be easier is just go directly into the editor that you're using and open the file from there. Now remember, by default the editor is only going to be looking for TXT files, so make sure that depending on your operating system and how your dialog boxes look, you're going to have to find the option for all files, and then you'll be able to see that HTML file, double click it, and then you're back in Notepad. So if I make a change to this, I must save my HTML file again, and I can just save because I've already chosen my location. And then if I navigate to my folder and open the HTML, it will open the browser, and now I've got my browser window open, and I also have my Notepad for editing. So you can just really use your taskbar depending on how your comfort level is in working, but you can just toggle between the Notepad and your browser. Now it is also important that when you make a change you have to refresh your browser. So a lot of browsers, F5 is the refresh button, but if you have made a change in the Notepad document and it's not showing up in the browser, then likely you forgot to save your file in Notepad once you made a change, and then you probably forgot to refresh your browser window. So make sure that you always do that when you're editing your code. Save and refresh frequently. So to give you the next example, this is the heading. And again, you want to go ahead and review the slide illustration. So when I want a heading of my document, similar to what we've been talking about with our Word documents, I want to identify what is this all about. So I could put about me. And once I want to save this, and then I could even go ahead and open the browser window directly from Notepad. So you can see here that the H1 tag gives me a large heading area. So now, once I have that, I can type a new paragraph. And once again, File Save or Control S, and then go to my browser and refresh. And now I have a new paragraph. So all you're going to do is just toggle between Notepad and your browser window, and the key is to save in Notepad and refresh the browser window. So just because you're clicking on your icon here does not mean you're refreshing that window. So go ahead and refresh that, depending on which browser you're running depends on how. So refresh button or hitting F5. I'm sure you'll figure that out. So the last thing that I'm having you guys do in this exercise is to just create a couple of paragraphs. So if I wanted to create a new paragraph, I could just type P for the paragraph and then close that P tag and save and refresh in my browser. So depending on what I want this to look like. And then I can even bold information, like if I wanted to bold a certain word. So what you have to think about is all these tags are just containers, and then they contain whatever it is that I want to do. So in this circumstance here, I want to bold this one word, so I'm going to just put the B tag around it and contain that. And then when I go and save and refresh, my text will be bold. So depending on my browser, and all of that information will depend on how bold this truly is. So I hope you guys found that helpful, and if you have any questions, go ahead and post those in the instructor office, and I'll see you guys on Thursday for the final exam. Okay, bye!